Chapter 11 General Principles. In its real form and sense, Tabligh is an important type of worship of Allah Ta'ala, and it is good fortune of every high order. It means to follow the footsteps of the Anbiya. Truly, it is the work of a very superior character. It must be based on equally high principles, which ought to be strictly followed throughout. Each participant must feel that it is he who needs to improve himself rather than thinking of reforming others. During the course of work and even away from it, he must try to behave as a perfect Muslim, as a faithful slave of Allah Ta'ala, constantly obeying and following the divine commandments of Sharia, but always seeking Allah Ta'ala's rahmah and pleasure. This is the basic requirement and the soul and foundation of the work of Tabligh. Once it is deeply and firmly established in the hearts of workers, the other principles, rules, and practices, some of which are described below, will become easy to follow. As far as possible, all expenses, including traveling, food, etc., must be borne by each individual himself, and if he can afford, he may quietly assist those companions who may be in need. All fellow workers and companions in this work must be given full respect, shown tolerance, be cared for, and encouraged at all times by one another. This will prove a great blessing for the whole area where the congregation may be working. Conversation, talks, and discussions must be conducted in soft and convincing tones, using simple and polite language. All types of displeasure with each other must be avoided. The scholars must be held in high respect and esteem, as we usually display for the Quran and Hadith, because it is through these learned persons that Allah Ta'ala has blessed us with true knowledge and understanding of Islam. Any disrespect towards them, however unimportant, may amount to disrespect for Islam itself, which in turn may lead to the displeasure of Allah Ta'ala for the whole community. And one of the things clearly about that is same thing with other ways of looking at personality. If you're not going to believe or accept a conclusion or follow an example or however you're going to put it, because of an individual, well, they may be right in that respect. Let's not make things about individuals. Holidays and free movements must be spent either in reading good religious books or in the company of pious and learned companions. By these means, one will be able to learn many essential things about the faith of Islam, about Allah Ta'ala and His Rasul. Particular care must be taken of the time given to the preaching work itself, that nothing is unimportant unless useless or senseless is spoken, discussed, or none. Or done. Okay, yeah. Nothing of those sorts. To try to earn an honest and pure living, to be the most careful and economical in expenditure, and to constantly carry out every single duty, however big or small, towards one's family, relations, and friends. No disputed matters or points of secondary importance be discussed at any time. The total time must be given to bringing out the oneness and supremacy of Allah Ta'ala, and to restrict all talk to the main points of preaching, which are in the real essence the basic principles to be followed by each and every Muslim at all times. Now, whether you wash right side, left side, or front and back, or whatever, these sorts of things, the actual principles of the faith is what we should be focusing on. Or whether if there's a different option in certain supplications in a certain circumstance, like in the prayer and the silent parts. Okay, which of these following things are going to say, and what, if there's a difference, there's a difference. It's not worth arguing which one's the best. Every action, work, and speech must be fulfilled with sincerity and honesty of purpose, for an act, however small, but done with this quality, is bound to bring high rewards and plenty of well-being. On the other hand, an insincere act, however big, will not bear any worthwhile fruit or benefit, either in this life or in the hereafter. Mu'adh radiyallahu anhu, who was appointed as governor of Yemen, begged the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to give him some special advice. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was pleased to say, "Be particularly honest and sincere in matters of religion. A little done with sincerity is enough." There is yet another hadith in the same connection. Allah Ta'ala accepts only such actions and deeds which are performed purely for His pleasure and accord. In another place it is mentioned, Allah Ta'ala does not look at your face, nor at your property, but only at your hearts and deeds. So the crux of the matter is that the work of tabligh, preaching, must be performed with all sincerity and honesty. No acting or outward show is to be put on. The degree of success and progress will depend entirely on the depth of our sincerity. Now, I've told some people that if I influence them towards accepting Islam or something, then it's just like, I didn't do it for my own thing, and my own particular, I'm a bit obscure at times with how I dress or something, and whether I'm living out a principle or not, it's like, but what is the principle I'm conveying? I care more about that. I care more about, there's plenty that I don't do that, plenty that I do that's not on my channel. You have a clue of what my character and what stuff is about. More than a clue, but always have something more than you're showing as far as your good deeds and your worship.